Hey folks, welcome back to GalCiv4 Supernova. We've just had version 1.7 drop, and this is the official version that you're all playing with now. I did start a series with the Drenjin, and I got 2 episodes into it, and then I recorded a 3rd episode, and OBS failed me, and it was just completely broken. It didn't record properly. And then shortly after that, I started my new job, and blah 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 blah. I didn't get to finish it. Ever so sorry about that for those of you who started watching that series. I'm not going to continue with that. Let's start a new one, and I think what we're going to do this time is play the game on a setting that's probably a little bit less fierce with regards to the size, because one thing about this game at the moment is still in early access, it's still being developed, and it's changing relatively rapidly. Stardock are putting out patches pretty quick. For those of you who don't know, I do work for Stardock now. That's my day job. They've hired me to make videos. So I will be talking about this game, and I'm just going to pretend that I don't work for Stardock, okay? But you need to remember that I do, because if I start going on about how great the game is, I was doing that before I ever worked for the company, and I was talking about how great I thought this game was before they even approached me, long before they did. However, I don't want you to feel cheated if you then kind of discover that I'm actually a Stardock employee after I'm kind of sitting here playing this game and praising it. So yeah, you need to see this as advertisements now, okay? But I'm not going to go easy on the game. If there's something that's annoying me in it, I'm going to say so. It's good for the other guys on the development team, because they get to see someone playing through the game and discovering any pain points. And I'm not gonna bullshit you guys, basically. So okay. Who are we going to play with? Well, in version 1.7, one of the new features that they've added is they've added 2 new races. Here we go. Well, 2 new civilizations, we should say. These are the Luxar Dominion. They are crystalline people. And they've got some interesting powers. They've got telepathy, which basically gives them the ability to give bonuses, kind of selectable bonuses or penalties to your enemies, I think. And bonuses to yourself. And you get to pick the bonus. I think that's how it works. They've got the paranoid trait, which means they receive 25% hit points and attack when they're in their own borders. So these are going to be a defensive race. They also focus on collectivism. By the way, these when you're looking at the civilizations details here, it's not. There's more to it than this. Okay, here's the classic one, for example. If you're looking at terrain resistance and you look at resourceful, it just says starts with some useful resources. Now that doesn't sound like that's that useful into the late game, right? However, resourceful, unrelenting, all of these different abilities, right, they actually open up not only events but different choices that you can make. So that's something that I think maybe could be communicated better. However, yeah, so when you look at some of these, you might think, oh, that doesn't look very particularly impactful. Actually, oh, I hate that word. Yeah, it looks like it doesn't have much impact. However, don't be fooled. There are other things that come with these. Okay, so even though terrain resistance, like starting with some useful resources might not feel like it's very strong, these guys, at least in my testing, are absolutely crushing it at the moment. Like whenever I leave the game, if I'm playing the game with the AI cheats on and watching it play, it's always these guys who seem to win. Terrain resistance are really strong. Okay, we've also got the Phalanoids advanced. Now, as you can see, these guys are a kind of moth-like creature. They're sort of peaceful based, I think. They've got the progressivism cultural focus. So yeah, these guys are going to be good for research, good at research. They've also got this really new, interesting characteristic called nocturnal. Developed to work in cycles, each lasting 15 months. So they have the season of awakening and the season of dreaming. The season of awakening gives them manufacturing and growth boosts, and season of dreaming gives them the research and influence boost. So yeah, every 15 turns basically this will switch. Kind of an interesting choice, an interesting ability for them to have. They've also got hopeful as well, so they get higher approval. They believe any civilization capable of space travel must be a potential friend. Higher approval on planets. They also, their citizens, their approval increases when they're sharing worlds with other species. So let's just have a look at the crystalline, actually. Yeah, okay, so these guys are silicon based. This is one of their big selling points, right? They grow really, really slowly. However, They have they've got high diligence, intelligence, and resolve, so they're actually strong. They're actually a really good population type. They just grow really slow, and they, they're going to be relying on Promethean, just like your sort of. I think they rely. Yeah, these guys rely on Durantium. So, if I remember right. So yeah, we've got these two new races now. I think I'm going to play one of them, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to play on a lower setting. Now, I did, in the forums, I did see Rob talking about how he likes these guys, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with the Luxar Dominion, just in case Rob from Explorminate wants to put a video out, and I expect he'll probably choose this faction. So let's go with the Luxar Dominion. Okay. So here we go. The crystalline are born with the gift of telepathy, but not all are gifted with equal power. Meladine, the most powerful telepath, detected life across the universe beyond her solar system. They initially explored their sector of the universe in peace. Unfortunately, the crystalline encountered the irradiated, and first contact turned violent. Millions of the crystalline were lost in combat and to slow decay. The remaining crystalline forged the Luxar Dominion. Since that first interstellar conflict, the Luxar Dominion have strived to be at the forefront of arms development to ensure their safety. Just a heads up, by the way, folks. It might not sound it, but I'm not very well at the moment. I'm a little sick. I have been all week. So my throat might not last that long. So there's a small chance that I might cut the video a little bit short if it starts cutting out. Anyway, so what have we got here? We've got the clever trait. So I think this gives you... yeah, this gives you a 5% research bonus. This is really good. They're also militant, which means that we get plus 20 control points. That's pretty interesting. They've got the opposite of brutal, so they're gentle. So they're not very good at soldiering. They get a negative 15% penalty to that. They're rich, so they get plus 5% gross income. And they're courageous, which means they get plus 10% resistance. So right, although they get a bonus to soldiering in general, in defense these guys are strong. And we also saw that when we were looking at their paranoid trait too. I think what this means is these are going to be quite a slow burner faction. But we're going to be relying on, our research and our economy to keep us going. But we're not going to be able to pump out, like to exploit growth. So for any of you who've played Taurians, for example, you'll realise that. I'm going to make the game a little bit smaller, I think. I'm going to put the galaxy size on small, and we're going to have a few sectors. I'll do my best to finish the game, guys, by the time that the next version comes out. It's not always that easy, and yeah, so we'll see how it goes. But let's play it through and see what happens. So I'm going to play on galaxy size a few. I might put it on, yeah, maybe binary. Let's just see how many. Just check our settings. Disable tech brokering. Surrendered colonies, no fog or war in territory. We'll leave all the rest of the victory conditions as they are. Minor races are in common. Hostile entities are in common. Civilization proximity is distant. They're going to be pretty close on this setting, I think. We've got the galaxy difficulty on bright. Now, bright's a bit easy for me. But that said, this is more about showing the game off. So, yeah, I've not played the Luxar Dominion. Let's leave it on bright, see how it goes. There is a chance that I'll get absolutely wrecked. So we'll see. So we've got a small galaxy. It's recommending 7 players. So let's see who we can get. I'm tempted just to put random players in, And I don't really want to be choosing from these guys. In fact, actually, I think what I am going to do is just pick them myself. So... not that I don't like the Alien GPT stuff, I do. I think it's great. But I just kind of, this time around, I just want to play with, some set factions. Who should we get in there? Let's get some players, some guys we've not seen much of. We've got the Navigators, one of the new factions. We've got the Drenjin, who are kind of classic bad guys. We've got the Archaeans, who are the classic foes of the Drenjin. Let's get the Taurians in there because they're quite good. They're another one that seem to do really, really well when the AI plays them. And I played a game through with these guys recently, and I just won really easily. They seem very strong. The reason being is because they've got this fertile trait, and they grow really fast, or much faster. Navigators, Drenjin, Archaeans. Let's put in the Altarian Republic. So we've got 2 quite militant ones here. We've got the... these guys are kind of peaceful. Well, They're not technically peaceful. Actually, they're xenophobic. These guys are peaceful. We're also peaceful-ish. Kind of peaceful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, one of the ways that you can make this game interesting for yourself is to put conflicting characters in, right? So you really want, if you want a warlike game, make sure you get some of the warlike factions in there who are going to declare war more often, are going to be less friendly. If you want a more peaceful game, you can put in some of the, you know, the more peaceful factions. Like, for example, let's say that you wanted a kind of a pressure-based game that isn't necessarily all about war. If you stick these guys in, the Mimot, these guys are quite peaceful. They've got pacifism as their goal. However, they've also got fertile, and they've got this proliferation skill here as well, which means that they have 2 ships instead of 1 for everyone that they construct. They're weak ships, but yeah, so these guys will spread like wildfire. That's what they do. They're also but so you're going to experience quite a lot of pressure with them, but you're not necessarily going to be like forced into war all the time. They might actually be an interesting choice to put in this small game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We probably want to put one more in. I am tempted to put the yaw in, you know. The problem is with the yaw is that they are pretty one-dimensional in the way they seem to play. We could get a more neutral faction in, like the Kryn. These guys also do pretty well. Okay, these are a scientific faction. They'll compete with us for science. Got 2 peaceful factions. We've got the Kryn, which are, yeah, they're expansionists. They do tend to go to war quite a lot. Taurians tend to go to, like, they tend to expand quite quick. And then the Archaean and the Drengin. I do wonder if this might be a little bit too peaceful. I think about maybe putting the war. I'm looking forward to the Stardock adding in the Korath clan, the Super Drengin, the really evil ones. Yeah, this should be okay. I think this should be fine. The Archaeans can be quite aggressive, and the Taurians can, and the Kryn can, yeah. Okay, let's go. I'm looking forward to playing this, guys, because one of the reasons is that I have been playing this a fair bit offline, you know, not on YouTube, in my own time, and I've been enjoying it. And here's why I have to come out with these disclaimers about, you know, oh, this is new. Yeah, look at that. I've not seen this yet. I actually knew that they'd put this in, but I've not watched it. Yeah, man, these animations are really top notch, aren't they? Yeah, look at that. It's awesome. This has been a feature right since the very first Windows version of GalCiv. They've always had really, really good video, you know, little cutscenes. It's a feature of the series. Okay, yeah. So here we are, the Luxar Dominion. We've read this bit out here. Okay, so strengths and weaknesses. The crystalline's slow natural growth will increase with large stores of Promethean. Despite the slow growth rate, their citizens are more skilled than other races, making them well suited for a variety of roles. Those lucky enough to be born with telepathy are even more skilled. Okay, so it sounds like we're going to get, you know, different types of citizens too. Have a look where we are. Okay, so this is our map here. It's not the biggest map, but it's not tiny either. Okay. So what do you do when you start? So you probably want to take a look at your executive orders. And we've got some control at the start of the game. Now, we get some extra control from one of our abilities that we got. And so, yeah, we get an extra 30, which will pretty much pay for the first draft colonists. Let's see what we've got in this sector. Yeah, we only start on... We've got Geode here. Okay, Geode's got a nice farming input. Okay, that's interesting. This is a new feature in the game, look. So they've actually expanded out the... if you remember before, there was like a planet, you know, and then you had all these in a different configuration over the planet. I think some people didn't like the way that looked, and you know, I know that Stardock agreed. So I think they've changed that, and I think this looks loads better now. It feels more like a board game almost, and the backgrounds are really, really nice. More importantly, it doesn't really conflict, you know, it doesn't clash. They have removed, you'll notice if you mouse over, look, you'll get these coloured borders which tell you which kind of, you know, +1 research, for example. Here, this one's influence yellow. You got the yellow for wealth here. Where are we? This one's like purple colour for research. This is kind of showing what the different type of tile is as well. This one's a volcanic rift, so it's got manufacturing, etc. So yeah, they've kind of changed it. I think this looks better. I wasn't sure about it at first, but I've kind of come around to this. I think it looks loads better now. It's a lot easier to read. Here's Meladine, our leader. Tells you what the abilities that she's got. So she's telepathic, minus 10% crime when assigned as a governor, and plus 10 control. She increases equality ideology, and she's sovereign. So civilization sovereign, plus 10 social. All right. Okay, so this is our starting location. This looks like a smallish starting place, but I tell you, you can build these places up pretty big. This is a class 28 as well. So yeah, we'll be able to build this up pretty powerfully. It's just kind of interesting to see kind of terrain we've got here. We've got lots of mountains for influence. Okay. At the start of the game, now what's happened is, in order to kind of slow down the start a little bit and make it so that the new players aren't so overwhelmed with the amount of stuff that you have to do, they've kind of like Stardock have locked off the civilization choices and the leaders. Now, don't worry, they come pretty quick, and one of them's locked by research, one of them's locked by this build queue. So you get this colonial leadership council thing. It takes one turn to come in. This unlocks the leadership screen. Now, you don't have to go for that, right? If you really want to rush build either the industrial center or the capital mainframe, then you can do that. Now, which one do you go for? Well, jury's out. Logic might dictate that if you want to build stuff faster, then you should go for the industrial center first. However, because, I mean, remember, at the start of the game, you get a bunch of credits. We've actually started out with 2,500 here. So what we could do, for example, is if we find a nice place for the industrial center, you could just actually build that quickly, okay? And that's probably what I would do here, I think. Alternatively, if you are really keen on getting research boosted very, very quickly, you want to get a research goal to go for first, then you could go for the mainframe. And you know, I'm not smart enough to figure out which one of those is going to be better for you in the long run. I think you'd have to run lots of tests, basically. Anyway, where would we put it? Here's a good place for a research. Yeah, so we've got... there's a plus 3% on research there. Now, this thing gives you plus 2 research per level. So you might want to pop this here, and then this will give plus 2 research for everything that's around it. I think that's probably the best way to go. And then what I would do is I'd put this first in the queue, and I would rush build it for 100 credits. There we go. So we're going to get that up first. I know some people might be arguing with me that it might have been better to go for the industrial centre. Whatever, it does not matter. Next turn, we are going to get the Colonial Leadership Council. We've also got the choice of colonial policies or starbase modules, or one of the others. Now, I think we'll go for colonial policies. The reason being is this is a new tech. Again, it's just been put in there to kind of stagger the start and open up the, which allows you to open up the leader screen, and you can get some. Is that the... Yeah, colonial policies is for leaders, that's correct. Oh no, colonial policies, sorry, is this one here. So yeah, this opens up the civilization screen. Let's go. We've got the LD Endeavour. Okay, so this is our colony ship. I think we're going to use some of our points here to... telescope takeover. Let's see what we've got here. I reckon if I put this here in the middle, we should be able to hit all 3 of these. Now, it doesn't always work. There we go. Okay, we found a minor world. Okay, we've got Sirius 1 and Sirius 2. These two are both they're too low to be core worlds. You have to have over 10. The class has to be over 10 or 10 or over. Have a look at this one. Nope, there's nothing on that one. Oh, this one's got loads of planets. Okay. So let's have a look. You can check them down here, look. Yeah, we've got an excellent class, but it requires extreme colonization. The rest of them are all... These are all minors. Okay. Now, they are relatively close to us. But maybe not close enough that they're going to be that useful to to rush colonize. Still, we should probably try. Now, it doesn't seem like there's anything in our immediate range. Maybe we get one of our scout ships out this way and just see if there's anything to colonize that way. You'll see that this is our radius that we can travel, our ship's range, and we can't actually make it out to any of these. Now, we could go for subspace scanning here. This would give us... This is going to be 8 turns away, but it would give us an extra ship range. Now, that should be enough. Actually, it's only 2. Yeah, interesting. Interesting start. Not the best start. Now, some people at this point might hit Control N and reload the map, or regenerate a map. But I'm going to keep playing on, I think, because I don't like doing that. I think one way of making the game more difficult is just to play with the map that you get. The LDE Discovery here, or the LD Discovery, this is our flagship, and this is the one we're going to be using to scout for artifacts, etc. There we go. Let's go and check this artifact here. In the shipyard at Geode, sorry. I think maybe a probe, but let's see if we can try and find our neighbours pretty quick. I'm going to get one of those out immediately. And we've got the Endeavour here. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to do with this one. Within a few turns... Oh yeah, I might just go and use it to explore, to be honest. Let's just see what citizen we've got on here. They've got quite high expectations. That might be a problem. Yeah, it was 11. I mean, we might have been better off switching one of those out. Anyway, let's tab on to the next turn. So we've unlocked colonial policies. And what do we go for next? Well, I think... Yeah, I don't think we need research districts. One thing about that, though, is it does unlock the orbital research lab. That reminds me, there's something I forgot to do. And that is that at the start of the game, you can make an orbital recruitment. Now, orbital improvement, sorry, of the recruitment station. That will give you an extra 2 growth. So you'll see here, if we our citizens are growing quite slow. So we're getting 3.8 growth per month. That's been boosted by the recruitment station. We've got a little bit of pollution here on this planet too, which is just dropping it by 5%. But yeah, you'll see 16 turns. Look, this is really, really slow. Let's get this guy. Yeah, we want him traded as a worker, I think. So that's going to increase our manufacturing by 0.3%. Or by 0.3, sorry. Let's also get the industrial centre up now. Where would be the best place for it? Mostly influence stuff, isn't it, here? Mountains. Floating mountains. These mountains are beautiful and bizarre. I like that. That's cool. Yeah, maybe we get it up here. That one. This is... Oh, that's Paradise. +2 to all. Interesting. Yeah, let's get him in here. That's going to give us a +3 bonus anyway, because a level 3 bonus, because look, we're close to the capital city. Okay, now we can put in a policy slot. So we've got the Cave of Echoes. Our homeworld is where our sentience was born. This most sacred place must be maintained for future generations. This gives us 10% influence growth and 3 approval. Or we can go for land exploitation, which gives us pollution in exchange for more gross income. Without slumber. We do not require sleep like organic species. We rest for balance and pleasure. But if our civilization requires it, this pleasure can be ignored. Okay, so we get less approval, but we can boost our manufacturing significantly. That's a big bonus, that is. 20% manufacturing. Our approval is a little low. So you'll see that the approval difference here is actually about 9%. Is 9%. If we drop down to a lower tax rate, we're going to be getting less credits. Yeah, by just under a credit, we could actually do this and get this manufacturing bonus. So we're gonna lose. You know, we're not going to make so much money, but we're actually going to get a big manufacturing bonus. Now it's not going to be a huge bonus at this point of the game. Yeah, we've gone up to 3.3 to 4. That might be useful in the early game though. We can't keep rush building stuff. Mind you, this might be a worthwhile rush build. 25 credits. Okay, let's do it. That means we want to put something else up next turn. I think in this case, probably getting research in too would be helpful. That's wealth. Okay, we can put a research district up. It's going to be 12 turns. It is quicker to put a manufacturing district up. Yeah, that's going to be 12%. It's going to give us plus 12% manufacturing. So we've actually gone to 6.6%. You'll notice that you do start with the planetary input is not a good indicator of. Yeah, don't look at this basically when you're first figuring out, you know, how much you're going to be getting. Until you've learned the game a little bit, it's kind of, you're like, oh, 434, that doesn't seem like a great, you know, it doesn't seem like big numbers. But as soon as you start playing with this, as soon as you turn it into a core world and you start laying down these assets, you'll really start getting some big bonuses coming in. This planet will be pretty productive eventually. Okay, we've got a probe out. Let's go for a constructor. It doesn't look like it's worth getting a colony ship at this point. See what we can get. See what we find over this way. I like to manually control my colony ships at the start of the game. Okay, we've got a black hole here. Okay. And we got another probe. Let's send that probe up this way here. Okay, next turn. Always takes a little while to get these turns going. To get these games going. Okay, so a leader is available to be assigned. Right. So now we've got the option to get our leaders up. So we've got Corundum Doe, a depressed former assassin tormented by their guilt. Okay. Now this person has got high intelligence. Also increases tradition. Increases egalitarianism. And as a diplomat, increases the crime of the civilization they're assigned to. That's a really good one. This person could be a good diplomat at some point. I think what we'll do first off is get him or her or it in as the Minister of Technology. Now you see that gives us a +1 random tech slot, but also 10% research bonus, which is pretty big. We've still got 2015 credits left. Wow, these are expensive. But good leaders, look. For example, Minister of Exploration is based on diligence. That's 12. This guy is kind of expensive. +10 research when assigned as a governor. That'd be a good governor. But 12 diligence, look. So the reason why I'm looking at that is that we'll increase our moves in range based on the diligence of this minister. So I think we're going to pay for that. That might be able to get us up to, let's just have a look at this colony ship now. Yeah, we still can't get this won't go through till next turn. Sorry. There we go. Look. Now we can see. Let's send the probe down here just to see what we can. Here we are. Look. Oh, we've got 2 big planets here. So we've got a class 20 that requires exotic world colonization, but we've got Narita 3 here, which is a class 23. It's a precursor world with a fully intact space elevator. Once colonized and given a governor to become a core world, these worlds can become manufacturing titans. Okay, yes, this is going to be a good manufacturing world. It's also got decent cultural significance as well. It's actually almost as big as... Yeah, it's the same as this one here, our home world. So this would be a good. This is going to be a good one for us to get. Now, there weren't any cores up here apart from Monument here, which we can't take because that's belonging to a minor settlement, a minor civilization. So let's get the Endeavour over here, and we're going to, yeah, Narita 3. With the establishment of this colony, we have taken our first steps into the galaxy. Our colonists represent everything which makes our people great, and with that they'll have every chance of thriving on this new alien world. Okay, so we've got an event here that's based around the planet. The precursors who lived on Narita 3 before us left behind a completely functional space elevator. This will greatly increase our ability to put manufactured goods into space and will prove very useful to our shipyard. Unfortunately, the public sector and several other groups are putting a great deal of pressure on us. They hope to use the elevator to facilitate their own projects. What are your orders? Okay. They can use it as a vacation spot as long as they don't block military traffic. That's going to give us plus 10% tourism and plus 5% approval. Allow some traders time on the elevator, which will give us plus 10% gross income and plus 10% trade route income. And then we get, if they have spare time, they can enter the war effort. That gives us plus 10% 10 control. I think, while I like control, I don't value it as much as these other bonuses. Tourism is big. I know it does, like, if you've played other Space 4X games where tourism is in there, it's not, you know, it can be good. Like in Distant Worlds, it's quite good if you can get it going, but in GalCiv, it's really, really powerful. Tourism is a money spinner, so this is a big one. But also 10% gross income is also big. Now, if you actually look here, we've got decent wealth here too. So 10% gross income could be pretty useful. Also getting the trade route income too. We're going to be, if we're going to be playing, you know, sort of defensively, we might be relying on trade for a bit. I do like the approval bonus though. It looks like they're quite happy anyway. Let's go for the tourism and approval. Okay, let's have a look at Narita 3 then. We need to get a governor in. Now we've got 1,533 credits left. Plus 10% pollution and manufacturing when set as a governor. Yeah, this one's already got 4% pollution. This one's minus 25% tourism as a governor. No, okay, so we've just gone for a tourism bonus, so we don't want him. He's also expensive. He's not the best leader, gotta be honest. Have we got any executive orders we can use here? Here we go, look, here's the executive orders that we've got with these guys. So we've got this one, Serenity. Use telepathy to affect an entire planet positively. Choose to boost growth, improve approval, or increase influence and tourism. Some pretty cool stuff. Now, see, that is a nice thing to use your control on. We do want to make this a core world, I think. Get it going pretty quick. So even though this governor's not very good, I think if we get... Oh, terrible. Let's get them in. Let's make sure that we've not got... Yeah, we haven't got one already. There we go. Okay. So Narita 3, here we go. Now, first thing we want to do is put down the core world capital building. We want to get that in a relatively central location if we can get it. But there's the precursor elevator, look. We've got a tourism bonus here. Yeah, so actually putting it here, the reason being is because the Artocarpus fruit gives us +2 population, +1 level to food as well. That might be pretty useful. So yeah, we're going to get +2 population cap, plus we're going to get an income bonus. The only problem is it's not central. We also get the bonus here though. That might be a decent one to put it in. Alternatively, we could put it here. And then we'll be able to get a +1 adjacency bonus to anything we put in here. This is not the, you know, this is all kind of, yeah, desert, so it's not really great. That might be better. I do like the income. Look, 10% gross income is pretty big. And it's likely we'll be able to terraform these. It's possible. What do you reckon? Yeah, let's put it here. Next thing we can do is the colonial generator. That gives us a manufacturing bonus. That would be a level 2 bonus here, just level 1. Let's put it up here, look. On this, on here, on this mineral rich mountains, whatever it is. Now we could kickstart this one as well. The only problem is we are chewing through our credits pretty quick. However, that would be a big bonus. I think it's probably worth doing. 5.7. Get a shipyard up next. Okay. Alright folks, before I roll the turn on, I'm going to end the episode because otherwise it's going to be too long. So, my intentions are with this series, just so that we don't have another aborted series, is I'm going to make sure that I play this one relatively quick. I'm going to try and play a whole bunch of it over the weekend, and we'll see if we can't get this series finished before the next version comes out. And I don't know how long that's going to be. Stardock are pumping these versions out pretty quick. I understand that they'll probably be gearing up for a release at some point later in the year, so they're trying to get this, you know, they're working quickly on it, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I'll do my best to try and get this one done over the weekend, and yeah, I'll catch you in the next episode, guys. Remember to like and subscribe. It always helps the channel if you do that. It really helps me out. And yeah, I'll catch you next time. Take it easy, folks.